What's up, everyone? We're back with another episode. It's been a while since Orange County has played. They didn't play this past weekend. It was a midweek last week that they played and drew with Las Vegas Lights. We're going to talk about that match, plus the rematch from last season's championship title winning match for Orange County. Let's get into this. Welcome to the Podcast of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
And the air leaves Allang Stadium in one large exhale. Trouble. Arozarena's feet. Orange County opens the scoring. It's Thomas. Kuninga scores! The old guard with a new trophy.
This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast or on Facebook at Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Samora, and I'm here to take you through this journey as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. And just watching that intro video, seeing Ronaldo Damas scoring in that championship match last year, and then watching what he's doing now in Europe, it's just a sad thing. I'm going to bring in Brad and ask him that question if he's sad when he watches those old highlights from last season's title-winning match, especially that Damas goal. Brad, how we doing, man?
It's crazy how that was, November of last year, and we're going on almost 9 months since then. That is, I think, the only thing that, really strikes me about it. Other than that, what a crazy season it's been so far. Do I miss Thomas? Yeah, but he's doing great things in Sweden right now. I can't say the same about the rest of Sundsvall.
That banger he had recently from just at the top of the box there sort of looks like an off-balance shot when he takes it, but man, right into the corner of the net. So we probably, can you imagine if we would have had Ronaldo Damas this season playing alongside Milan Iloski, and how amazing that combination could have been. And then of course you have Kubo in there too. I mean, we could have been racking up goals this season, but unfortunately Damas had to be shipped off to Europe. Milan's playing amazing. Kubo's been decent, but for whatever reason, we're still struggling. But let's say this, right? I don't know. I'm not looking at the season stats, but we now have 4 matches with a result. I think any other point of the season or any other season, that's going to be something nice at this point of the season, having the results. Oh, and by the way, for those of you listening, it is that time of year where crickets hit the Orange and Black Soccer Cast studio, so I apologize if you hear any cricket noise in the background. But man, if it's not for the way the season's played so far, Brad, would 4 results in 4 matches be a pretty good thing in your eyes?
Can you repeat that one more time? A lot of 4s.
4 results in 4 matches would be good any other time, except for the fact that we're sitting pretty low on the table, right?
I mean, yes, but 4 results in 4 matches. What are we looking at? Draws, wins. That's the big important factor of that.
All right. Simple and sweet from Brad, as always, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this, though. We got to talk about that Las Vegas Lights match last week that saw Orange County probably disappointingly coming up with just 1 point in a 1-1 draw against Las Vegas Lights. I think Orange County looked pretty good in this match, but just came up short. Brad, your thoughts on only getting 1 point from the match against Las Vegas? And did Orange County blow the opportunity to get another 3 points here?
I mean, if I think back all the way to last Wednesday, I can't believe that those words come out of my mouth. It's been a while. Orange County definitely was the better team on the night. They played a lot more solid possession. I don't even remember how the Vegas goal comes, but I do remember Iloski's goal because he seems to just score every week. I'm just kind of stalling to see that Vegas goal, but yeah, Iloski just is able to just, again with the chip, quite amazing work out of him, but we shouldn't expect anything else knowing how the team's been playing so far. But no, Orange County definitely had a lot better possession this week than they did last time they played Vegas. A lot less mistakes, a lot more possession, creating chances, and yet only one goal to show on the night.
Let's talk about the Milan Alosky goal, right? What's more impressive for you in this run up to the goal? Is it the nice chip pass from Dylan Powers, or is it the great control from Milan Alosky using his shoulder or upper left chest to control that ball and really take Abraham Romero out of the play, because Romero was coming out to get that ball, and Alosky very smartly taps that ball away using his what looks to be his shoulder, which I believe is totally legal in soccer terms. Anything below the shoulder would be a handball, but the shoulder actually, I believe, is a legal way to do it. So, what are you more impressed with, that pass or the control from Milan to take Romero out of the play?
I really do think that pass was a thing of beauty. It was perfectly weighted. Milan was in the spot to just be able to easily handle it. But again, that first touch Milan takes is just absolutely insane. There's the Vegas goal. Looks just to be a spill coming out.
Well,
But
let's get into this Vegas goal really quick, right? Because I'm sorry, man. It seems like this is now a weekly segment, having to harp on one specific defender on this team, but obviously Rakowski should catch that ball, or at least control it a little bit better. But the defenders also should not just be standing around anticipating that their goalkeeper is going to get that ball. And who is it other than Albie Skendi that sort of just stands there flat-footed while the goal scorer for Las Vegas just like pounces on that loose ball to get the goal. So I'm sorry to cut you off on your previous thought, but we're seeing that on the highlights right now, Brad. Who's more at fault, Rakowski or Skendi on that? I'll give you my answer after you get yours too. I'm not putting you all on the spot, Brad.
Ideally, I would say Skendi. He is flat-footed. He should just be there to clear the ball out of the back of the net, in my opinion. I don't know what the communication is, who's responsible for what there, but I would argue, yeah, it is Skendi.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I actually really, obviously, I think anyone anticipates Rakowski is going to make a good save there. It looks like that ball just had a little bit of that knuckle feel to it that Rakowski couldn't quite read it perfectly. So that's why it was a weird bounce and a weird deflection off of Rakowski. So that's unfortunate there. But this is what I teach my young players is regardless of who your goalkeeper is, you could have a world class goalkeeper. You can have someone making their debut between the posts, but you need to be there and have their back regardless. So you need to be ready to pounce on that ball, anticipate that the goalie's not going to catch it, and where do you think you need to go to get that ball? But yeah, unfortunately on that one, Skendi's just sort of sitting there flat-footed, anticipating that Rakowski gets the ball, taking a breather already, probably 2 or 3 seconds too soon. And as much I hate to admit it, props to the goal scorer for Las Vegas there. Who was it? Cal Jennings, for anticipating that Rakowski wouldn't have the ball. That's another thing I teach my kids on offense. Do not stop until the goalkeeper has that ball in their hands. So Cal Jennings was doing Samora ball 101, pounce on that goalie until they have that ball secured in their hands. You mentioned earlier that you thought Orange County was the better team out there, but when you look at the stats, it's actually probably still more in favor of Las Vegas statistically. Vegas had more shots on target, more possession, more passes, a better pass accuracy, way less fouls, and they didn't get carded at all. So what is it that you saw from Orange County that says Orange County played or was the better team in this match?
Honestly, my answer is probably just improvement over the last time they played Las Vegas. I was looking to see how we controlled the ball in the midfield. And I was much more not impressed, but satisfied with this time around than our first time, where it seems like anytime we gained possession, we immediately just kind of gave it back. And I just thought we looked a lot better of a team. And maybe it's with rose tinted glasses, but that's just what I saw.
And then what I got to ask you next, Brad, very important question. What was probably the biggest moment or the most important moment in that second half that you saw on the stream that caught your eye and that you feel like was a big important part of this match?
I don't even remember the second half. I'm not gonna lie. It's been so long.
Does anyone remember the second half? If you don't recall, Brad, most of the second half was unavailable due to some streaming issues.
That's exactly why the whole game was almost non-streamed for me. So
That's why
that's
me and
where
Brad, neither of us were at the match, so we're sitting here going off of what 25 minutes worth of stream video, and then the highlights that our producer was able to pull up somehow, some way off of the highlights from USL Championship. Unfortunate that most of this match was missing, but for those of you that missed it, we were having fun in the Discord chats. For those of you that are part of the Discord, I don't know if I should even mention Discord, but doing some fun random conversations. Yours truly was going and basically copying and pasting every comment someone made and finding the GIF or GIF, whatever you prefer to call it, and posting that. So we saw some random stuff on there. So what we're going to do right here is that's all we have to say about this Las Vegas match, because we didn't really get to see much. If anyone was at the match, and I do see El Patron de Grayson was there and commented on that shot that Rakowski couldn't stop, saying from my spot on the side, the ball was blasted. It was a tough one to catch. We're going to have to rely on you, the fans that were actually at the match on last Wednesday, to know what happened. Let's start the conspiracy things here, Brad. Was this potentially maybe some LA Galaxy supporters, or even maybe LA Galaxy front office, maybe cutting some cable wires or some video wires at Championship Soccer Stadium? Or is this just a freak accident in your opinion?
it's a freak accident. Let's be honest here.
You don't have any thought or any inkling that it could have been sabotage?
I think it's more likely that Bush did 9/11 than the Los Angeles Galaxy fans, who are overwhelmingly in support of Orange County staying Orange County SC, having anything to do with that stream. I have no idea what it was. The team seemed to fix it before it got crushed again, and that's why I think, looking back on it, I thought Orange County was a better team than they probably were, because I didn't get to see 50 minutes of a 90-minute game.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. I was constantly like refreshing my my webpage to see if the stream would pop back up. My sons were pretty cute when they were talking about it, saying, just go back and watch the stuff you can watch. I'm like, yeah, I've already watched that stuff. I don't want to go back and watch it again, I guess. But I was just hoping that they would somehow fix it for the end. But I'm sure at some point, maybe at the 85th minute, it's like, okay, it's not even worth trying to fix it at this point. We're just going to let it go. And unfortunately, it would have been nice maybe if once the club found out that the stream was not going through, a little bit more interaction or a little bit more social media posts to keep us all updated. I know there was updates on like a yellow card and later on the match that it was still close, but it's one of those things. Or heck, maybe even just a fan at the stadium. Maybe the club just says, hey, random fan, just start streaming this on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or something, so that our fans can see what's going on. But I'm sure you get into legalities there. Any other fans that were at the match, go ahead and post on here and just let us know what your thoughts were on the match. We will bring them up, even though we're going to sort of move on here. But we want to know what you saw at that match there. And apologize that we can't really say much more about a 1-1 draw for Orange County. But again, I'm looking at the glass half full perspective here. Is at least it's a result. At least it's a point, which, a point is very much needed. I promise you 3 points is a lot more needed at this point. But the way the season's been going, I will take a point at any point. It keeps us at least even on points with RGV. But RGV does have a game in hand. So there's still a chance if the season was to end today with RGV getting that extra game, we have no control over being in last place. But, we got to at least do our thing to try and compete. And hey, still only 7 points back of the playoff spot. Amazingly, shockingly, right? That still has to be a shock at this point of how dismal of a season this has been for Orange County to still only be 7 points back. And I know that's, again, being glass half full at this point, saying only 7 points back with what was it, 9 matches remaining. But still, to be at that position the way it seems this season has gone, pretty cool. Before we jump ahead to the upcoming match, which is the rematch against Tampa Bay, there was one bit of roster news that was announced. We will get to the season scoring predictions. I promise you, Mr. Andy, our producer, we will get there. But I wanted to talk about this roster news. Longmire has been recalled, so we now no longer have Longmire as, I guess, a backup center back. So the big question I have for you, Brad, who do we have at center back at this point in the final, at least heading into this match against Tampa Bay?
The mistake man himself. God, trying to think of some funny one-liners to say. The expected own goal. The you have to have some here. Albie Skendi is seemingly our only center back, and he's not a center back.
Well, we have Michael Orozco. We do have former U.S. international Michael Orozco back there. I want to make sure you know that he's also a center back, right, Brian?
Yeah, but it seems like we're playing 2 of them every game, so he's been healthy, but it's Skendi, and that's concerning given that we've only had 2 clean sheets, and I don't think he's played in either of them this season.
So this begs a question, all right? So either, hopefully, between now and 3-4 days from now, we get some sort of announcement of another center back that's on the roster, or we're stuck with Skendi and Orozco with maybe Peterson being our backup center back at this point, or our emergency center back, or somehow, some way, maybe Rob Kiernan is recovered from whatever injury is ailing him, and he will be back in the mix. How scared are we right now, looking at the roster with Skendi, Orozco, and I guess Peterson as our 3 center backs? If we were going to do a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you're totally confident, 1 meaning you are just, you're scared. What are your thoughts?
Before I give an answer to that, let me just go ahead and correct myself. Skendi was in center back in both of those games that we've had clean sheets against Miami and Atlanta United too. So let me just apologize to Skendi on that one, although performance the rest of the season is definitely painting a different picture from those 2 games. My confidence if to make the playoffs or just in the back line itself or the center backs itself?
No, I'm just saying your confidence in the center back. So either 10, you're totally calm, collective, or, a 0, you're like, a non-virgin in a horror movie, you're going to die at some point. What's where are you at?
Yeah. I'm at a 3. And that's because I don't think Skendi's a bad player. I think he's playing out of position and getting lost a lot of the time. But he is still a good player in terms of he has all the physical attributes. But then you have Orozco, and you have full faith in him. He's been there. He's played I think he's played 100 caps for the team. I think that was this past week. He was his 100th game. But he's played a lot. He's reliable. He's always been there, and he's an Iron Man and plays pretty much every minute of every game. So a 3, I think, would be fair enough.
You're a lot more confident than I am with this setup. As much as I love Michael Orozco, he's at the tail end of his career. He's still doing amazing. I'll give it to him. Michael, if you're listening, or if you ever listen to our podcast, you're doing amazing, but he's at the tail end of his career. And it should be a point in his career where you're not asking him to be, so involved and so important to your defense that he has to play every minute of every match, and he has to play error-free. Obviously, going into the season, you're anticipating Rob Kiernan's there at some point. You're anticipating Rob Kiernan's going to be sort of the leader of that defense, giving Michael Orozco a little bit of a break and a little bit of less duties in him. And Maybe you're not anticipating Albie Skendi playing so many minutes. You're not anticipating, well, I guess you were anticipating Kobe Henry heading to France, if we're being honest here, but not anticipating maybe getting rid of or losing all your other center backs on the roster. So that's, I guess, the difficult part with this. I love Michael Orozco, but it's just at this point of his career, he shouldn't be asked to be the focal point of your defense. He needs to be the complement to whoever your focal point is. Again, that should have been Rob Kieran this season. Didn't happen. I probably am more down to a 1 when it comes to my confidence producer Andy going with the crazy talk here in the chats. 2023 return of Blake Malone. He must be hearing something that we're not. I mean, he was near the Colorado area recently, so maybe there's some rumors in Utah or wherever he was. Was he in Colorado? I can't remember where he was. That he heard from the locals. Let's talk about this rematch of the final match of the 2021 season. That seems so long ago that it happened, but it was, like Brad said, about 9 months ago that Orange County went to Al Lang Stadium, dominated the match against Tampa Bay Rowdies. Thanks in part to a very key penalty save by Patrick Rakowski, which I think was the last time we saw a confident Patrick Rakowski on the pitch. Unfortunately, there's been struggles this season. And then bangers from players like Miko Kuningas, Ronaldo Damas, that sealed this victory for Orange County. I don't know. How are we feeling about this rematch? Let me ask you the important question. I think all Orange County fans have talked about, Brad. How upset are we that the rematch wasn't in Orange County and it's back to Tampa Bay?
Back to conspiracy theories. I think it's more likely that Bush did 9/11 than the league is conspiring to take over Orange County's viewer base. I think this is just how it worked out. Maybe they're worried about viewership and they thought that Orange County wasn't going to be a packed stadium, but because COVID in California, but Florida, is the wild east when it comes to COVID restrictions and rules, and I don't know. Also, the league headquarters is in Tampa. You can put on your tinfoil caps about it.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean, it's obvious, Brad. Come on, you don't have to. We're not paid by the league or the team. We don't have to skate around the facts here. It's obvious, right? I mean, the league is headquartered in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay Rowdies are the darlings of the USL Championship, regardless of Orange County winning the title in Tampa Bay. I mean, it's obvious that Orange County earned the right to host this rematch. I mean, I think we all knew that because there was going to be this interconference play, there was going to be this rematch on the schedule. How is it not Orange County hosting this match? Like, what argument do you have, Brad, that you can say, okay, there was no obvious choice that it should have been Orange County? I know you're trying to be political here, and you're trying to not make enemies with the league, or I guess with the supporters in Tampa Bay for whatever reason. I don't know if they're paying you, if they got you in their pocket, or what it is, but what is it that you feel like this just happened? I mean, come on, you're putting a schedule together and you're not putting the rematch in the Champions field. When the original match was played in Tampa Bay, it should be the rematch in Orange County. Makes sense, right?
I'll come back with one counter. What if the schedule was made before the finals? What if they were already in talks about next season's schedule before the season ended? I know that sounds kind of ludicrous, but there's not many reasons why you're right. There's not many reasons why the league would have handled this as they did, except viewership and East Coast time zone. But it is what it is, and I guess we just live with it.
We can't like protest. We can't go to a city council meeting and leave comments to say, hey, USL, you did us wrong here. I'm just joking on that.
Either way,
part of it.
The team probably would be in the same situation. And you don't want to get embarrassed at home in a rematch of the national championship. I think it it gives us the excuse because we've been horrible. Actually, we should be looking at it favorably. Like, if we were to lose this upcoming weekend, we should look at it favorably and say, well, at least it wasn't at home. We could use that as an excuse.
Brad's already making excuses for Orange County losing this weekend, folks. What do you think of that? Let us know, for those of you that are listening, watching live in the chats. Are you disappointed in Brad already making excuses for Orange County losing in Tampa Bay? Man, I haven't even looked at Tampa Bay's like form
what's that
or
deal?
how they're doing.
They've lost 2 in a row. Prior to that, they've won 7 in a row.
Okay, so we're getting them at the right time, is what you're saying, Brad. So you should have more faith in Orange County. We are facing them at the right time. They are in poor form right now. After a great run of form, they've now dropped a little bit. This is the perfect time to be facing Tampa Bay at home at Championship Soccer Stadium, making them travel across the country, playing at what would be 10 o'clock at night in the East Coast, but they're playing on the West Coast. I mean, this would be a perfect opportunity for Orange County to make that final last-ditch effort push for the playoffs by defeating Tampa Bay at Championship Soccer Stadium. I love this whole concept here where it's just Brad and me going back and forth, because now we can sort of just banter and argue back and forth, and there's no Alan or Dylan
to be no way to get in between us.
Yeah, there's no reason here, right?
There's no reason. I'm trying to be the reason here, and you just got your tinfoil hat on. No, if you look at who they lost to these past 2 weeks, it was Louisville and it was Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Both teams on the top of the respective Eastern and Western division, and these were both 1-0 losses. So it's not like they were defensively giving up goals and looking bad. It's just they played against 2 really good teams. One of them had a really good defensive game in Colorado, where they somehow managed to keep a clean sheet against Tampa Bay. But if we look further into this matchup, Tampa Bay has continued on their path of dominance that they've been continuing on for the past, 3, 4, 5 years, where they've consistently been making not only playoffs but deep runs. They should have been, in my opinion, champions in the COVID year of 2020, when it was them versus Phoenix at Al Lang that got canceled the day of or the day before due to COVID in one of the team's parties. But they still are that same dominant team. They've played 25 games this season and have allowed 25 goals, which, is a sure of a lot better than us. I had that stat up. Let me bring it back up. I think we've allowed 43 goals in the same amount of games, 25 games. So it's the comparison of one team's allowing almost 2 goals a game, the other one's allowing 1 goal a game. And although Orange County hasn't had a game where we've allowed more than 3, we've been allowing at least 2 or 3 in a lot of these games this season. And especially late in these matches. And that's been where this team has dropped its points, as we've covered week in and week out. But looking deeper on this team, you have players that have been there for a while. They've known the system. Leo Fernandez, Jake LaCava, Kyle Grieg, just to name a few. But this is a very strong Tampa Bay team, and they're going to be playing at home. And I hate to be all doom and gloom here, but you should definitely be happy that Orange County is playing on the road here. I'm afraid of the embarrassment if it was at home, but no.
All right, Brad, we wouldn't be embarrassed at home, though. I'm just telling you this right now, right? You just mentioned that Tampa Bay lost 1-0 to Colorado Springs. We drew Colorado Springs at home 3-3. So, I mean, it wouldn't be an embarrassment at Championship Soccer Stadium. Okay, I'm going to get over this.
But that was Tampa. That was Tampa Bay on the road, though. They
would be in the road at Orange County, and even an hour more of a delay to the start than what they're used to. So again, they're starting in Orange County when they probably would be going to bed in Tampa Bay, because obviously, what else is there to do in Tampa Bay but play your match
They
and then
would
go home
probably
and go to
still
sleep?
start the game at 4 or 5 o'clock so that the Eastern crowd could still watch this. It wouldn't be a 7 p.m. start.
No. Okay,
Yes.
we need to go do this research, and I'm going to ask our producer Andy if he can to do some research. When the East Coast teams have come out to the West Coast, do we start them earlier because they're playing on the West Coast? That sounds ludicrous, Brad. It sounds like you're just pulling something out of your back pocket, hoping it sticks, throwing some pasta to the wall, hoping it's done and it sticks to the wall.
Okay.
Or
How
something.
about this one? Hold on. Let me find. I had one earlier.
Let our producer do the research. Let us
All right.
keep going with this
Yeah.
because I got to prove that you are just mental here when you're thinking about this. But let's talk about this match. Let's talk about Orange County versus Tampa Bay. What can Orange County do in this match to get the 3 points on the road in Tampa Bay?
What can Orange County do on the road to get the 3 points in Tampa Bay? Oof. Only allow one goal. Only allow one goal. I'm very confident that if Orange County only allows one goal, our chances go up a lot. And how do you do that? You have to control as much of the game as you can. You have to allow that midfield, which has looked better, mind you. I think Kasipli and Powers have been unsung heroes this last 4-game stretch what we've been unbeaten in. And those two guys have been creating a lot of chances and feeding Milan Oloski. And you just have to continue to do what's been working there. And then you have to also not allow set pieces. So I don't know what Memphis versus New Mexico would be. Oh, it's Memphis at New Mexico. Is that 6 our time or 6
I
six
was going to say
New
that makes a
Mexico
big
time?
difference. If it's 6 New Mexico, that would have. If it's 6 our time, that would have been 7 o'clock New Mexico. I don't know, but
Orange County hosted Loudoun earlier in the season. Kickoff was at 5 p.m. That's not 4 p.m.
Okay.
like I was saying, but that's an hour difference. That's the difference of 8 to 10.
Okay. So then obviously then we have the proof that there's an East Coast bias when it comes to this league. The league is sort of making concessions to the start times or the kickoff times of these matches. No other professional sports league does that, right? If you have an East Coast team in the NBA coming out to California, and typically teams start their games at 7:30, the games tip it off at 7:30. It's not an adjusted schedule because we have the New York Knicks coming into Staples Center, Crypto.com Arena.
The Crypt.
So let's start the game earlier. No, that would be ridiculous, right? Look at that. See, Battery at G2, a 7:30 p.m. kickoff time.
Battery. Orange County versus
Charleston
Miami.
fans
The
watch
Miami
Battery.
0-0 game, 5 p.m. kickoff.
Yeah. So I guess we're making an argument here. I guess I was totally wrong. I guess the league does have this East Coast bias.
That's music to my ears.
And they're starting.
So
you're
still
wrong?
right. You're still right in that regard that the league has East Coast bias. Although I totally have said that in the past too. That they want their East Coast. It's a precious audience for them. It's a lot of these teams are very well supported. Outside of like Red Bulls too and Loudoun United, which are also kind of a 2-team themselves.
But who
they're
cares?
all
Last
very
year
well
when Las
watched.
Vegas wanted to do a midnight kickoff against Orange County, right? I mean, they're what's this precious kickoff time when they're going to do some ridiculous stunt like that with Las Vegas?
I guarantee you the league had no control over that. Las Vegas is going to Las Vegas. Don't use Las Vegas as an example for anything of professionalism in this league.
Yeah, that's coming from the Reno man who hates Vegas. So obviously we're probably going to see Skendi and Orozco as the center backs in this match. You said to have a chance, we have to score or allow just one goal. One goal. Wow. G2 at Loudoun was a 4:30 Eastern time kick, so that would have been like 1:30 Pacific. Wow. I love it. Our producer, I asked him to do a task, and he's bringing up all the stats.
That probably had the combined viewership of probably 300 people.
But at least the Galaxy would reimburse Loudoun for any lost revenue because of that change in time or something. Who knows? How excited or how positive do you think we can get that limiting it to one goal for Tampa Bay with a Skendi Orozco partnership, or is that pretty much obvious bet on the that it's not going to happen? What's the official Nevada betting line for this, Brad?
If I can find one, go ahead and talk about this game.
No,
a little
I'm
bit
just
more.
saying, you got to give me your Nevada betting expertise.
Is
you
this
you
just going to
said
be my
one
score
goal.
prediction?
If Orange County is going to win, they need to only limit it to one goal for Tampa Bay. But we have probably, I'm anticipating Skendi, Orozco as the center backs of the defense. So if you were a betting man, are you going to bet that we can in fact limit it to one goal? Or are you saying, nope, Tampa Bay is scoring like 5 or 6 goals?
I'm thinking that they could probably score 2. I think that's the more likely number. I think we're going to allow one from open play, and then somehow Skendi is going to find an own goal or a mistake that leads to a goal. It's consistency's basis, Ray. Don't lie to me. It's to the point to where you don't even like feel that anymore. You kind of expect it, and like the pain is kind of numbed away over the whole process of watching Skendi play. And I love him. I think he's a fun player, but he is definitely way out of his own league in that spot that he's being kind of forced into.
And by all means, I feel like he's a nice guy. I mean, I hate that we have to bash him week in and week out for the performances on the pitch. But that's what we do on the show, though, right? We're gonna give you a honest fan opinion of what we're seeing on the pitch. And I mean, to even a very limited soccer knowledge person, you're gonna see that a lot of these things that we're seeing that are mistakes. Skendi just happens to be right there in the middle of it all. Is there any chance? I know we talked about last week about Milan Alosky going for the record here potentially. What do you think? Can Milan the over under of 1.5 for Milan Alosky in this match goals? So basically saying the over would be 2 goals or more, the under would be 1 goal or less. What would you take, the over or the under against Tampa Bay?
I would take the under, but not a 0. I think Alosky is a player that is just fun to watch. He is a creative player, and he's definitely, you can see the work he puts outside of the game show up in the game. I think 1 goal is probably the more realistic number, but if we see Brace Alosky instead of Brian Alosky, or Milan Alosky, Brace Alosky instead of Milan Alosky, definitely would be a fun game to watch.
And I sort of I'm going to put our producer on the spot here. He doesn't have to come on the video. He can just put in the chats. But what do you think, producer Andy, over under for Milan Alosky? Does he, will you take the over the under of a 1.5 for Milan Alosky for goals in this match against Tampa Bay? I'm taking the over. I feel like Milan could do this. It's going to be a big stage. It's in front of the league, higher ups, the league officials or whatever. He wants to put on a show. He's going to go for a brace or a hat trick in this. So I'm going with the over if I'm putting the betting line at 1.5 for the over under. Looks like our producer is going for the over as well. He put that in the chats for the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. So Andy and I have more faith that Milan can take the over here. If Milan gets the over, Brad, I'm going to say this right now. If he gets the over, if he gets 2 or more goals, I have faith in Orange County in this match. I think Rakowski is going to have some sort of memory of Al Lang Stadium. We're going to see Rakowski of last season. And maybe my whole argument was incorrect. Maybe the fact that they are in Al Lang Stadium, it's going to rejuvenate the team. Rakowski is going to find his old form from last year, and he's going to go on a final 9-match run, giving up like 3 goals in 9 matches. And it's going to push this team to victory. But I think Milan goes for 2 or 3 goals in this match. If he does that, I think Orange County wins. What are your thoughts, Brad?
If he goes for 2 goals, which he's done a couple times this season, I think the match, I think we don't lose with 2 goals. I can't confidently say that we win because I can't confidently say that we allow less than 2 goals. But if he does score brace and the over comes up, I mean, how much do I have here? It doesn't really show up on the camera, but I got about 3-4 shots worth of Malort. Maybe I'll do like 2 shots and then make a mixed drink out of the rest of it, and we'll just polish off the bottle on next week's episode, so that I eat my words and there's some tangible punishment to me not having faith in Milan Oloski.
Perfect. And it sounds like Brad needs some more Malort. So if anyone wants to help Brad out in this
Deej is
endeavor
in
of getting him
Chicago.
more
He's going to
Malort.
grab me this week.
Oh, okay. Deej is getting it for you.
Yeah.
We got to do our predictions, but before we do that, let's see where we are in the standings after the Las Vegas match. I know my prediction didn't do anything to help me. I'm stuck at 55 still. But man, Alan is still winning, and Alan is sort of cruising to victory at this point. He's 12 points ahead of second place Dylan. Brad, you are what, 6 points back of that? Not too bad. And how far back am I of Alan? I am
that would be 31
points. Is it even mathematically possible for me to catch up to Alan at this point?
10 points a week, and if your score prediction is right 3 times and Alan's score prediction is exactly wrong 3 times, you would be within 1 point.
All right, so I gotta go with serious predictions from here on out. I know
5-0.
I've been doing my 5-0, and we've at least been getting points. It's been working. I gotta catch back up to Alan, man. This is ridiculous. So let's get into our predictions. We do have Alan's official prediction because he did provide it to us before we went live. So what's up?
I said thank you, Dylan, for not, because we get to have some fun with it now.
Oh, we get to have fun with Dylan's prediction. It'll be awesome. So Alan's prediction is what, Brad?
Alan predicted a 1-3 loss. Tampa Bay wins.
So he is definitely now officially a full 100% San Diego Loyal fan. He is not a fan of Orange County because he's predicting a 1-3 loss for Orange County in this match. Brad, are you giving up your fandom of Orange County in this prediction?
I'm very, very, very torn on this because everything I've said says that, we're going to lose. And in my brain is telling me Alan's prediction seems very fair, but my heart and standings on the prediction game are telling me that it's a 2-2 draw because I need to catch up myself. And also, I've been saying I don't think we win with 2 goals, but I don't think we lose with 2 goals.
All right, perfect. For my prediction, I actually went in. I have a friend that has a copy of Gray's Sports Almanac, but the newer version of it, not just up to the year 2000. He has the one 2020 to 2050. And he looked at this score in the Almanac and he told me that Orange County is going to win 3-2 against Tampa Bay. So my prediction, Orange County 3, Tampa Bay 2. This is courtesy of Gray Sports Almanac. I'm confident in this. I'm 100% confident in this prediction. Now we got to get Dylan's prediction. Dylan's just SOL when it comes to this, right? What do we want to do?
He hasn't shown up in 2 weeks. Don't have sympathy for the guy who has not shown up to his 1 weekly commitment for multiple weeks in a row.
Here's what I'm going to do. I have a bunch of random coins that I just found on my desk here. I didn't even plan this. You heard those coins sliding across my desk, hopefully. I'm just going to put them in random piles here, and we're just going to count this up. Dylan's score prediction is going to be, see, this is a nickel, so that's 5. A dime is 10. A nickel is 5. So count this up for me, Brad. 2 nickels. We got a dime. We got another dime.
Oh, I was just going to ask Google.
Okay, so we have 30 cents, $1.30, $1.32. So he's going to 132 for Orange County. Got 75, 80, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 1, 2. Wait, did I counted wrong? Why am I counting wrong? 85, 95. Oh, no, I counted right. 102. 102 for Tampa Bay. Did you write it down?
132 to 102.
Yes.
Oh, boy. I don't want to watch that game. That game's probably... Oh.
That would be what, like 3 goals every minute?
90-minute game. What is that? 234. 234. Okay, yep, we're gonna math. We're committed for it. 234 divided by 90. Math says it's 2.6 goals a minute.
There we go. So round it up to 3.
I know there's not stoppage.
There's not many of you watching live, but for those of you watching live, share us your predictions. If you're not watching live, just let us know on social media or in private chats with us what your prediction is going to be for this match. Let's get to some random soccer stuff here. Any random soccer news you have to provide, Mr. Brad?
Yeah, I got two pieces of soccer news today. First is a shout out to one of the craziest sports or soccer influencers in the United States, and that is Mr. Eric Winalda. Um, I don't remember which soccer pundit, but somebody was kind of Team MLS saying, what other league in America produces these talents that are going to Europe every year, like Brendan Aronson and all these other names that are just going abroad? And Winalda just responds with two words: Orange County. And
Can I just guess? It was probably Alexi Lawless that was saying what other leagues are sending
I
talent
don't
out?
know.
That just sounds like an Alexi Lawless thing to say.
Yeah, it does, but I don't think it was. And then the other, oh, there's even more. Tab Ramos to Hartford Athletic, which is going to be an interesting relationship there. I wonder if they're opening up the pocketbook to try to make a run at future seasons and create a championship team in Hartford, which a lot of those fans really deserve a team that's been doing better than they have been recently. Um, so that's exciting to see. Hopefully they open up the pocketbook and Mr. Ramos's relationships with players can bring in some quality talent up there. And then last but not least, if you do like little mini 10, 15-minute soccer documentaries, SB Nation just came out with one about one of the biggest hypes in American soccer and kind of the bust of you know all these expectations placed on a teenage soccer player. That would be Mr. Freddie Adu. It's called Prism. It's on SB Nation, and it's just like a really good, brief kind of overview of Freddie Adu and his ups and downs as a 14-year-old who is kind of expected to carry MLS into name recognition around the world.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I haven't checked that out yet, but very interested in seeing what we have there. This is where you get the strong argument is USL is probably a better spot for some of these young American talents to come through because there's less pressure, there's less expectations, and you get to come in and you probably get more playing time at the level that you need it at to be able to achieve your goal. That's why you see players like maybe a Kobe Henry come in, an Aaron Cervantes come in, sort of under the radar. We look at even Orange County, we had this high expectation of someone like a Francis Jacobs, and we can probably look back at it and say he's yet to live up to those high expectations when he was brought in as a young professional player. But some of that has to do with maybe some injury issues and, hey, Orange County being a championship contender, which means you're going to focus more on the experienced players. But you probably have a better opportunity as a youngster coming through the ranks. Go to USL team, get some playing time, but under the radar playing time, and figure your way out. And there's proof now in the USL that you can still make your way to some of the bigger clubs in Europe through that process instead of maybe going straight to the MLS with all that pressure, all those expectations, and maybe, I don't know, less support. I don't know. Who knows? Let's watch what's going on there.
Yeah, the USL is kind of the biggest mix between really young, hungry players that are getting more minutes and getting an opportunity, and older, more senior players who are definitely have been around for a while. While that's, I think, one of the biggest knocks on MLS Next Pro is you're going to see a lot of these really young, hungry players that are going to be dominating other young, hungry players. But, you know, you're not, let's see how that translates to when they get called up to the MLS or get loaned to a European team or whatnot. I don't know what the exact plan is, but one of the biggest players that people are kind of championing as the MLS to European soccer recently is Brendan Aronson, who now is with Leeds United, and they just had a big victory over the weekend. But where did he start his professional career at?
Are you
That was a
asking me the
question.
question
Yeah,
or
yeah. Where did Brendan Aronson start his
it
professional
was like
career at?
Bethlehem Steel or something like
Yep.
that, right?
He started in the USL with Bethlehem Steel, which, mind you, was a MLS2 team with Philadelphia Union, but it was in USL competition. So, little fun fact for you there.
I guarantee you everyone, Brad was trying to stump me with that question. He thought he had me there. But I've done my research. It's random. I go through and randomly read Wikipedia articles, and I read something about Brendan Aronson at Bethlehem Steel. That's the reason I knew that one. I'm not gonna claim that I am the expert here. Here we go with my random soccer stuff. Random soccer stuff here, right? Everyone knows I always talk about my youth soccer team, and I'm going to do it right here. I apologize, but I'm taking my youth soccer team into their first ever club tournament on Labor Day weekend. It's the Laguna Classic. So I need some scouting help here. If anyone knows any scouting information of any of the teams that are in the U12 boys division playing in that tournament. So we got Laguna Beach FC, we've got Petadores, we've got some Liverpool teams, Newport Mesa Slammers, a few CFA, a few other teams. But if anyone has any information on those, hit me up. Give me a scouting report on those teams so that I know how to play my team in this match. I'm very competitive. I want my team to do good in their first ever club tournament, even though we're not officially club, but we're getting to play in a club tournament. So that's really fun. So hit me up. Let me know. And I guess our producer is like shocked that I'm asking for scouting reports on boys youth 12 team or U12 teams, but I'm doing it. I'm going to do it anyways.
Is this a paid opportunity for soccer scouts out there? Because I know one very.
I'm not paying for the scouting report. I'm not that rich, man. I barely can afford buying equipment like soccer balls, like our official match balls that I'm buying. So I can't afford to pay the scouting report, but just help me out, man. Help me out. Other random soccer news I'm going to shoot out here is my son who's in 7th grade. He's taking Spanish this year. He came home after the first day or two of school and said, I think my teacher likes Orange County Soccer Club because I think there was a scarf in the class. So I told him to ask her, and lo and behold, he comes home the next day and says, yep, she likes Orange County Soccer Club, and she asked me what podcast we do. So hopefully he shared the information. Landon's teacher, if you're watching, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for listening. Listen again, and hopefully we can talk soccer here. It's awesome things, but it's awesome just to find random Orange County soccer fans at a middle school in Aliso Viejo. It's exciting. Brad's laughing at this random.
If this is your first experience with the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, commiserations. You get the high quality banter of the Rambler and the host.
The host with the tin foil hat going on here. Hey, I mean, honestly, obviously, I don't always believe everything I'm saying, but I always just try and bring a little bit of mix into it, and I want to hear what people say. But a lot of time I do believe it. I like to go crazy sometimes with my soccer thoughts. Random thoughts for tonight. Luckily, you only have to listen to 2 of them, and we get to wrap things up, and we'll actually give you a few minutes back on this episode unless we start rambling on here. Brad, random thought for tonight.
Oh boy. Have yourselves a good day. I'm gonna try to take up the next 5.5 minutes with just random airtime. Maybe we'll throw in some whale noises and.
Well, apparently our producer did not like this random thought from Mr. Brad here. He just boots him out. I was anticipating you guys had worked out. You like our producer already had some whale noises prepared to play for the rest of this episode, but no, that is not the case. Here we go with my random thought. I actually, everyone knows that I'm a LA Clippers fan since like the 80s, but on Hulu, they have a documentary about the Lakers called Legacy. Just talks about how the whole process, the official process starts. I think this was sort of a reaction to HBO's dramatic. I forget what you call it when it's a drama, but it's based off of real life stuff. But there was Winning Time, which was sort of a more dramatic version of it. A lot of maybe facts sort of bent and skewed and whatnot. But you have the new documentary series on Hulu, Legacy, 3 episodes deep so far. Pretty cool to hear about just stuff. I like sports documentaries. I've been watching Sunderland Till I Die. I've been watching some of the All or Nothing on Arsenal. I haven't gotten to the Leeds United one from a couple years back. I'm definitely going to check that out. But if you like basketball, you like sports documentaries, go check out Legacy on Hulu to see what you got there. Just interesting stuff just to hear how the bus kids had to sort of work to prove themselves to their father to get to where they're at, and just sort of hearing some of the players, pretty much all the former players, coaches, front office, and all that stuff are involved in this and sharing their thoughts on how that all went. So check it out if you're interested in sports documentaries. It's time to wrap things up here. We got to let you guys go. We'll give you guys about 4 or 5 minutes of time back. Our producer Andy, I guess there's 27,000 tickets sold for the SD Wave versus Angel City match coming up. So that's a random soccer news thing to share with you that T put on there. Andy, you can always just pop in and just interrupt us to share anything you want to share with us if you ever want to. You're not restricted, Andy. You're not restricted. You can do that. But let's wrap things up for Brad, our producer Andy, and also those missing hosts tonight, Dylan, Alan, and Taylor. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, and we are out.